Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the E.N.G Media Podcast. We have a very exciting guest, Jared with PromptLayer. For those of you just joining the podcast, I am Christian Gannon, the co-founder of E.N.G Media, and we specialize in helping in software and tech companies scale their revenue. If you want to learn how to take your software tech business to the next level, make sure to stick around. So let's get right into it. I understand PromptLayer helps companies ship AI applications faster and more securely by combining robust observability with a developer-friendly workflow. Your platform bridges the gap between speed and control, offering full visibility into prompt preference, versioning, and collaboration so teams can build and deploy with confidence. Can you share more about your business, the services you offer, and your role within it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jared. I'm one of the founders here at PromptLayer. Me and my co-founder launched this product about 2.5 years ago, and it's kind of grown in a crazy way since then, and the world has shifted in a crazy way, and we've kind of positioned ourselves and become the AI kind of, we call it like the AI engineering workbench. What do teams of AI engineers, how do people build products on top of LLMs? We help them build reliable products, help them test their products, run evals, figure out which model to use, collaborate, bring in non-technical domain experts. Really, this end-to-end workflow of iterating, making your product better, and just building something good on LLMs, whether it's an external-facing AI feature or an internal workflow like we built some internal ones, actually dog fooded ourselves, like a sales AI, sending emails to people. And the main parts of our platform are the core is a prompt management system. So saving your prompts, versioning them, deploying different ones to production or staging. We also have evals, so testing the prompts, testing the agents. We have, along with our prompt registry, also agent builders. So we consider that the same thing. And then the third thing is observability and logging. So we really believe you can't build these systems well. You can't actually do evals if you're not running it against production data and running historical tests. So that's the high level of everything in our purview. But at the very, very, very core, we build tools to make LLM products, and we have a kind of a core belief that the best LLM teams are comprised of both engineers and subject matter experts, and the lawyers building legal AI or the doctors building medical AI, and the ML engineers who help them do it.
100%. And thank you for sharing. And how did the idea for PromptLayer come about? What gap in the market were you really trying to solve when you built it?
We just built it for ourselves at the beginning. I think
Of course.
ChatGPT had just come out a year ago. My co-founder had a background in deep learning research, so he was very much in the field. I was at a MLOps feature store company called Tekton, so we were in the vicinity of AI.
Okay.
We were playing with stuff. We were kind of building some weekend projects, and through this process, we kept saying it was very early, so it was completion models, if you recall, and
Mm-hmm.
there was no chat. It was put in some text and you get text back, which is the same thing today, but there's a little more abstraction. And we kept making it better and then forgetting the good prompt that worked well. And so the very first version was just logs, just logging every change. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously we've grown to be a real like production grade software from there, but
Mm-hmm.
started just solving a personal problem.
That's awesome. And I think that's a great way to start a business, acknowledging that you're not the only one with the personal problem that you hate and going back and making a change. And that kind
Yeah,
of goes into my next question, but what trends are you really seeing in ML ops or developer tooling right now?
it's a good question. There's a lot of talk these days of multi-agent systems versus single-agent systems.
Hmm.
I don't have a
Okay.
good answer, but I do both. Uh, but the prompt layer answer is that there might not be an answer on the best way to build these systems. It might actually be extremely use case dependent. The really interesting thing about LLMs is they're general purpose technology. I was actually I was at a talk with Jensen Huang from NVIDIA the other
Hmm.
day, and I love this quote. He said that we're like we're now building like AI, like these factories or data centers. They're really
Hmm.
just intelligence factories because tokens are just general purpose intelligence. And because of that, there's so many different ways to implement them. And our customers range from huge customer support agents to like some weekend project or to like our sales email bot and there or a therapy bot or there's so many different cases and it's hard to make a hard and fast rule on how to develop these things because some people are optimizing for latency, some are optimizing for personality, some are optimizing for cost, and some are optimizing for code output. So we really believe the best way to think about LMs is try and check, guess and check. Build the system, the
Hmm.
rigorous system that lets you test if things work, but don't listen to any rules. Honestly, don't even read any academic papers. Just do something, see if it works. Doesn't work, try something else, see if that works better. And that's all prompt engineering is, or context engineering as people call it now.
That's awesome. And what do you think in this landscape right now is making it more challenging or on the flip side easier to operate in?
I think we're really interesting. I'll give you both answers.
Okay.
Uh, it's a really interesting time to build a company, especially a software company, because there's more people than ever can build. It's easier than ever to build. You could build way more with a small team than you could ever before. So in the past, maybe you could work in stealth and get like a year or even 2 year head start on another team.
Hmm.
Now look at Windsurf, look at Cursor, look at all these tools. Look at Lovable and Bolt and Base 44. You can't get a head start anymore, to be honest. And there's so many people building now, and there's so much more demand for building because so many people can do more. And I think this is
Hmm.
the bull optimist take for AI that just people are going to do way more. But it also makes it an interesting time to build because you maybe secrets matter more. But maybe they don't because there's no secret because so many people are building that you the
Hmm.
chance you're going to be independently finding something. The amount of things we've at PromptLayer decided, oh, maybe we'll build that later, or like you see other people build it. So it's all boils down to way more than in the past. It's less about technical prowess, and it's more about taste and what you decide to build. So that's kind of like I guess maybe you could call it a negative side, or the harder side.
Hmm.
The easier side is kind of the same thing that it's just way easier to build, and you can go way further, and you can kind of do a lot of tips and tricks and hacks that would be way harder. PromptLayer is such a end-to-end platform. It would be really hard. Where it would be hard to build it with a small team in the past,
Hmm.
and we have like 6 products under our umbrella, and that's because of the first thing I said that you have to do that now because otherwise
Right.
someone else will. But it's also now you're able to. So it's an interesting world to say the least.
Definitely. I think it's a really exciting time to build. And I think there's some sub niches, like really small sub niches, maybe within finance or in predictive modeling that are really starting to take off. And that's something that's exciting for me, especially with the finance background before I was a co-founder here. But just in predictive analysis, I think is something I haven't seen a really good AI bot or agentic bot yet that has covered it all. And I think that's what I'm excited to see. And I know that it's in the works
Yeah,
somewhere. And like you said, like if
totally.
someone's thought of it, someone's building it. So, uh,
There's so many rocks that aren't overturned, but
right,
I guess I'm skeptical that anything will remain a niche because
right.
there's too much opportunity and like it's too easy to expand from the niche. So I mean, maybe if you're not a venture backed company, you could do the
Hmm.
niche, but then some venture backed companies are probably going to end up doing it. So it's
Right.
really a winner take all, or maybe a winner take nothing
Hmm.
market.
100%.
But maybe I could throw in a little more optimism with I think because everything's changing and because I mean listen to any of the like great tech leaders of
Hmm.
the last generation. They're all maybe you could call it marketing, but they all
Hmm.
say AI is the biggest order of magnitude technology shift probably since before .com. And that's exciting because there's just everyone here, I mean, this is a motivating thing at PromptLayer. We have a real chance to shape how this world plays out. And there's a real opportunity to say, if we never existed, things could play out differently, and we can actually alter how this new type of knowledge work, which is prompt engineering, which is building like AI, actually comes to be. And if we're right, that's how it's going to work. So it's also very exciting.
100%. And I think something important that you mentioned that I don't want to glaze over is that right now, as you said, this big shift, a lot of these companies, including PromptLayer, have an opportunity to really change not only that world that you guys operate in, but overall of just going forward and from an engineering perspective, right? And that now this is the baseline of operation. It's not what it was before 5 years ago or even close, right? And
Yeah,
it's going faster than it ever has before.
totally. And how, like, are you using AI to write all your code, or are you maybe
Right.
using AI to do tests, or are you using, we're big Claude Code these days. It
Okay.
switches every day, obviously, but everything's changing.
Definitely, definitely. And shifting a little bit, I know that PromptLayer recently published a detailed migration guide following the announcement that HumanLoop will shut down in September. How do you see PromptLayer positioning itself as the go-to platform for former HumanLoop users? What have you learned from the migration experience so far?
Yeah, I mean, HumanLoop's a great team. I think they were one of the early ones in the space as well.
Hmm.
And they were a team I think we had a lot of respect for, who had a great taste in how these things should work. Excited to hear more of their where they're going to be ending up their team. I think it's not public yet, so we don't know. But yeah, I think Human Loop is there's a lot of similarities, and a lot of their users we've spoken to. We've had users switch before. I mean, in this space, everybody's trying everything, so
Hmm. Of course.
uh, definitely we think our platform is going to be very useful for a lot of those users who are now looking for new tools.
Definitely. And in light of that question, how are you currently reaching and onboarding new clients? How are people hearing on you about you? What's working really best for you right now?
Yeah, most of our customers come inbound, whether
Okay.
it's from word of mouth or content we write or being in the conversation. And yeah, we our product has been self-service since day one, so you could sign up for free at PromptLayer.com. You could start using it. You can get real value out of it. You can pay for a paid account on your own without talking to us. We have enterprise contracts, so we do talk to the bigger clients.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's been fun. We have all diverse types of companies, from individual hackers to some of our biggest clients have like hundreds of users actually onboarded onto our platform. And who know? Honestly, we should track how many hours they're spending in PromptLayer per week. It's probably a pretty cool metric. I just don't know that.
Right, 100%. That would be awesome. And the reason I was asking is because I saw you post on LinkedIn recently about using make.com. I hadn't heard of this before, and I'm in the marketing side. So it was just something
Yeah.
interesting, and I wanted you to touch on that a little bit more if you could.
Yeah. So how we use Make. So Make, if you're not familiar, it's like Zapier, N8N. It's in that
Hmm.
vicinity. I think these tools, these like WYSIWYG workflow automation tools, are really good for non-technical people or just simple users, or like simple use cases. Sorry,
Hmm.
uh, to build a workflow and build an automation, build something scalable. And a lot of them have these AI features now. N8N specifically has a lot of AI features, which are great, but we found, and we actually didn't even think of this. Some of our customers told us they were doing this, and we're like, oh, that's a good idea.
Hmm.
And we figured out that if you want to do a one off or like a five off, 5 time thing,
Right.
yeah, N8N is great. Make is great. All these are great. But if you want to build something that's really reliable and you're going to run at scale, so the example you're referring to is our AI sales agent. So
Hmm.
basically sends emails to people. I mentioned it before. Sends really, really highly targeted emails that people are responding with paragraphs and paragraphs. And it does research on each of them and it really figures out. And we spend a lot of time tweaking this because we're sending hundreds or thousands of them and we want it to be in our voice. We don't want our brand to get diluted. We don't want to be sending AI slop.
Right.
Um, Having said that, I think you can plug the two together, and that's how we did it. So we use Make like N, but instead of having AI like prompt in Make and kind of versioning it there, we
Hmm.
have a PromptLayer node that anybody can use that calls out to the agent in PromptLayer. And then our PromptLayer agent, because the point of our platform is to help you create like hundreds of versions and tests and make it really good, we can then
Hmm.
combine, hey, this agent is super reliable, but PromptLayer, we're not a tool for scheduling it and running it. And I
Hmm.
mean, we run it, but we're not a tool for orchestrating it. Plug it into your Make system. So now every time we have a new user like create an account on PromptLayer, it goes into Make and then it sends it to the agent, and the agent decides whether it should email them or not. Some people, if they're individual hacker, we don't need to spend our tokens. They should
Hmm.
use us. We love them, but we don't need to spend their tokens to talk to them and give them a demo. But if it decides to, it'll research and I really sat down with David, our VP of sales. We did it together, and we sat
Hmm.
down and said, "What is the process?" And we wrote down every step that we do as humans, and then we just automated it.
That's awesome. And thank you for sharing more about that. It's very interesting. And something that I wanted to touch on too and not glaze over was the tone and the brand that comes with producing AI content that goes directly to a user or a potential customer. I think that's so important right now, especially and you've probably noticed on LinkedIn, you just scroll through a lot of garbage. And
Yep,
that's just the truth of it. And I'm not saying everyone's posting AI generated content, but I would say
most
at
people
least
are
20-30% minimum, right?
higher.
Yeah, I just don't want to call everyone out, but
But
you
is
get what I
it
mean.
good AI generated content or bad? And I think I think good AI generated content could be good.
100%. I would agree, and I think that's something that's the next tackle, right? I just think on LinkedIn or personal outreach, right, of your personal brand, even at a deeper level than a company brand, or I guess about the same. But either way, it's just I feel like LinkedIn is a good platform to tell stories and really have good copy, and sometimes it gets derailed with a lot of AI garbage that I understood what you were trying to say, but it wasn't that a human said that, or I know that's not how you talk because
Right.
I've had conversations with you, right? Like, so
And
it's
then
just interesting in the time that we're in, I think.
you today I recognized like three posts that were
Hmm.
pretty well known. One was a publicly traded company and their press release, and you see the GPT-4o speak where it says like it's not just a new feature, it's a
Right.
revolution with the little dash between it.
Hmm.
And you see this so much these days, but that I mean that's a great point. You have one prompt to do it, you're gonna get that AI slop looking stuff. But the problem is not that it's written with AI in
Hmm.
my opinion. The problem is that um, it's generic.
Right.
And if you're using AI like a tool, you're using it as a way to scale your workflow and distribute yourself into 1,000 of views. But
Right.
if you're using it as a kind of fill in the blank as like, hey, I want to do this, just do the rest for me.
Hmm.
You're not going to get good quality because you're not telling it exactly what you want and you're
Right.
letting it use its taste. And you want to use your judgment and use AI as a force multiplier on your judgment. And that's kind of our view on it.
Definitely. And I would agree with you. I think I might be biased on this lot just because we are in marketing, right? And that's what
Yeah.
E.N.G does. And so we're biased on the copy that we write. And of course we use AI when we're writing copy. It's more of the sense of, okay, let me write it out and brainstorm and put all my thoughts down of what the direction I want this to go in, and then have AI clean it up, and then me come back in and make revisions where it's needed, right? And I think like you said, using it like a tool, not as the rely on basis, like this is the only way I can get that out, or
Totally.
this is the only way I should do it, or I think it's like a time thing, right? Like writing good copy might take an hour. If I throw a prompt in chat, it's going to take me 5 minutes to get it scheduled out on LinkedIn, right? So it's a very, very
What
interesting
is
time for
your
sure.
what is your AI writing process? Do you have a good
Of course, yeah, I could
trick?
share. I think for LinkedIn specifically, and honestly, any copy that goes out or on behalf of a client of ours or anything like that, I think what I like to do is just take a Google Doc, just completely blank, understand where we've posted before, the direction that we're going, and kind of make it real. Like I recently posted on LinkedIn, like I went and saw some family out in St. Louis, and something that was important was that the stories that they told that I haven't seen them in a long time were real, right? They're interesting, they're engaging, and from a post perspective or a copy perspective, that's how you want your copy to be too, right? So what I usually do is go to the Google Doc, write out a story that I think is important to me, that is genuine because it's written from me, and then I bring it into AI and I say, hey, what could I make more concise? What can I clean up? I don't want to write an 8 paragraph essay on LinkedIn, right?
It's the
And then,
proofreader.
right, exactly. And I use it similar to Grammarly, I guess is the best way to put it in a sense.
That's good. That's good. I think I do something more the opposite. I'll kind
Really?
of, well, actually, I say it's pretty similar. I do the brain dump, so I guess that's what you're
Hmm.
doing too. The
Of
brain
course.
dump. Sometimes I'll just do a voice memo, and then I'll
Hmm.
help that craft into the. It depends what I'm writing though. Some things you write and you're like, I need to do this by hand. This needs to be
Right.
bespoke. Then other things you're like, okay, let's just pump out a bunch.
100%. And I think something that really helped me is, and this was really using AI, was I asked, hey, can you make a list of interview questions that relates to my ICP, the people that I connected with, and do research and pump out interview questions, and I'll go in and manually answer them, and then that should shape the content that I want to
Totally.
post. And that was like the most helpful thing. So if there is one thing that I think is the most helpful, regardless if you plug it in first or after, that was probably the most of just now I understand the direction I want to take this because of the guided questions.
I like it. I like it. Using it as a way to prod yourself.
Right, exactly. And
Right.
I know we got distracted a little bit, but I'm glad that we went down that road
That's
because I
okay.
think it is important. But more on the personal side too, as well. What does your typical day to day look like as a founder?
It's different every day.
Of
I
course.
think I think that's the challenge, figuring out what is the highest leverage thing I can do every day. What
Mhm.
is medium leverage that I probably shouldn't do, even though it's a good idea. Because you can't do every good idea. And yeah, it's doing a lot of helping people use PromptLayer, doing a lot of kind of tutorial building, content building, using our own product a lot, dog fooding,
Mhm.
helping kind of build product strategy. Uh, it's a wide range.
It's a balancing act, right? I think most founders that are listening to it understand you're wearing 25 hats during a given day, and you got to pick the 15 that are the most high leverage for that day,
Yeah,
and those other ones might have to wait for later that night or on the weekend when you have the time, right?
right. Coding sometimes, although coding is the
Hmm.
fun stuff, but if you're coding
Right.
too much, you're sometimes you gotta. It's it can be a procrastination. You're still getting stuff done,
Hmm.
but when you're coding, it's a solvable problem, and a lot of these startup problems are not solvable. So you kind of want to avoid those hard questions, inconvenient questions. But and coding is very convenient. You say, okay, I know I can make this feature. I'll do it.
Right, 100%. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I had someone on the podcast recently, and we talked about the importance of that reflection time as a founder in a startup and how important that is, even though it might not feel like it is, but I feel like that's one of the highest leverage items on the checklist, at least for me. And
Sometimes
I
you just
think
got to
someone,
go on a walk.
right, exactly. That's like my routine. Like after this podcast, I go on a walk for 15 minutes, then come back and move to the next thing because I think it's so important to be present in every activity that you're doing. Otherwise,
Totally.
it gets thrown to the wall or it's half baked, I guess is the best way to put
Right.
it.
Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Right, exactly. And when you think about success today, what metrics matter to really to you and the prompt layer team?
Winning.
Of
Being
course.
becoming the AI platform people use, being a platform that people love, hearing that our customers love it, getting more customers, having the revenue rise, having the amount of annual contracts rise, having the amount of great features get more shipped, hiring great people. There's a lot of metrics that matter, but at the very core, it's just growing. I think as a startup, especially in this day and age and space, you need to be growing fast, and momentum is a big thing.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And kind of looking ahead, what's next for prompt layer in the next 6 to 12 months or maybe even more? Are there any big product features or launches in the roadmap?
There might be. um, yeah, for sure. There's big product features. We're still kind of tossing a few around. So the
Mm-hmm.
order is up for question. We have some cool features combining traditional ML models with LLMs. We've worked a lot on usability, on just really making the product beautiful and easy to use. We work a lot on, luckily we have bigger and bigger customers using us, so we've done a lot of infrastructure upgrades. Yeah, there's some other stuff. There's a lot. There's so many.
Of course, of course. And I know you can't talk about all of them publicly, so thank you for sharing about a
Right.
couple of the
Well,
features
yeah.
too.
And also because some of them are not fully flushed out yet, so we're still
Of
figuring it out.
course, that makes a lot of sense. And it leads me to my last question. It's a fun one, but a tough one. Hypothetically, if you had a magic wand and could solve just one problem within the business, what would that be?
Hiring. I would hire good. We have a great team, but it's hard to find really great people.
100%. I think you're not the only one dealing with that by any means, especially right now with the amount of builders that are out there. And
I don't think it's ever going to be easy because that's the whole point.
no,
You want to hire the best people, and the best people are always there's only you're the best because you're better than everybody else. So if everybody was the best, it wouldn't be good.
right, exactly. And to wrap up, if people want to connect with you or learn more about what PromptLayer is doing, where could they go and how could they connect?
LinkedIn, X. I'm Jared Z on X on Twitter and LinkedIn. My name Jared Zoneraich. We have PromptLayer accounts on both as well, and that's where we share events, product updates, features. Sign up for PromptLayer.com. You'll be able to see product updates that way. And reach out if you have any questions about prompt engineering or about the product or any ideas.
Perfect. I
Or
will
if
leave.
you're looking for an engineering job in New York.
Perfect. I will leave the links in the description to both Jared's LinkedIn as well as the PromptLayer website. But I highly recommend you check out PromptLayer and the incredible things they're doing in this space. But other than that, thank you again, Jared, for your time and insights today. And we'll see you guys on the next podcast.